Hey guys, welcome to Protein Treats by Nutracelle. Today we are making Lucky Buttons. They are so yummy and so delicious and so good for you and perfect for St. Patrick's Day. So let's get started. Okay, so to make our Lucky Buttons, all you're going to need is a few really easy ingredients. And what's so great about this recipe is not only does it taste super great, but it's also no bake. So it takes almost no time to put it together. You can put it in the fridge and then you and your kids can enjoy it whenever you want a little sweet snack. So you're gonna need 2.5 cups of a granular stevia. So I have a baking stevia here that's equivalent to sugar, so I have 2.5 cups. Then I've got about half a teaspoon of my peppermint extract. You could also use a mint extract. And I have 1 tablespoon of water. And then I'm also using 4 ounces or half a package of softened cream cheese. Now I'm using a full fat cream cheese. If you want, you can use a light cream cheese. And then I have here 2 tablespoons of coconut flour. And that's gonna help us get a really nice dense feel in our Lucky Buttons. Now for our ganache that we're gonna be making afterwards, I've got some sugar-free dark chocolate chips here, and I have half a cup of full fat whipping cream, and that's all we're gonna need to make our ganache along with our Nutracelle. So I'm gonna show you, we're gonna start putting all of this together, and I'm gonna show you how easy this is to make. So we're gonna start with our softened cream cheese, and I'm just gonna make sure I get all the yummy cream cheese goodness out here. And then I'm gonna go ahead and add in my coconut flour. And coconut flour is really great for a couple of reasons. It's super high in fiber, so it helps you feel really, really full. And it's also very dense, so it's great when you wanna have a denser cookie that you're making. And then we're also gonna add in about half of our sugar, our sweetener. I'm gonna do maybe just not quite half, and then I'll just keep adding it as we go along. I'm also adding in my tablespoon of water and my mint extract. And just kind of get this down on the sides a little bit. Stevia is a little bit lighter than real sugar, so you'll notice that when you're mixing with it. So because this is our St. Patty's Day recipe, I'm going to use a little bit of food coloring here now. You could use a liquid food coloring. I'm using a gel, so you could just need a little tiny bit of it, depending on how green and dark you want your cookies to turn out. So I'm just putting just a little titch in there. You can always add more if it's not green enough for you. Once you get it mixed, you're gonna now add 4 scoops of vanilla Nutracelle, and we're just gonna alternate between our stevia and our vanilla Nutracelle. You want this to be a very, very thick dough. And then we're gonna add in our last 2 scoops of our vanilla Nutracelle. There we go. And just continue mixing. And then you'll wanna scrape the sides down probably a couple of times while you're doing it because it is such a thick dough. And just pull it away from the edge and make sure you get all of your stevia and your protein mixed in well. Okay, once you have it mixed together, this couldn't be any easier. All you're going to do is take about a teaspoon worth, and then you're gonna roll it between your hands into a nice little ball and place it on your parchment paper. So just like this. Now what's great about this dough is it's just like Play-Doh consistency. So if you've ever made Play-Doh for your kids or you've bought Play-Doh, then you know exactly the kind of consistency you're going for. So if you find yours is a little bit too dry, you can always add a touch more water. If you find that it's too moist, then just add in a little bit more protein. So here we go, I'm making perfect little balls. And once I finish making them, I'm going to go ahead and poke a little hole in the middle of them for our ganache. So I'll stick around, I'll show you how easy this is to make. So once you get all of your balls done, now you're just gonna take any kind of a mixing spoon or a spatula and just use the soft end of it, and we're gonna go ahead and squish them down and poke a little hole in them. Just like that. And they're gonna look like this. You're gonna have a little dent in them. Do you need to get close or are you good? And that's what we're gonna fill with our ganache. Now to make our ganache, this couldn't be any easier. You're gonna take your whipping cream, your full fat whipping cream, so mine is 36% fat, and I'm gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna pour that into my saucepan. And then I'm going to add a scoop of chocolate Nutracelle. So all we're gonna do is mix this up, and you wanna keep stirring constantly. You don't want to let this sit at all. So you're gonna stir the entire time you have your heat on, and you're gonna bring it to almost a boil. So it's not gonna take very long, so you really wanna watch it. Okay, so now you're gonna take your sugar-free chocolate chips and you're just gonna put them into a bowl that you can use to mix. And you're gonna take your ganache here that you've done almost to boiling, and you're just gonna pour it right into your chocolate chips. Just like that. Give it a quick stir. You don't wanna lose the heat, so you're just gonna stir it quickly. And then you're gonna let it sit for about 2 minutes. And that's gonna let the hot cream and the chocolate Nutracelle, that's gonna melt your chocolate perfectly. It's so much easier than trying to use a double broiler to do it this way. So I'm just gonna let this sit for a few minutes so the heat just gently works its way through. And then we're just gonna mix it up, and you're gonna see how easy and quick this is. And now you're just gonna mix your ganache so it's nice and smooth all the way through. And you can see the consistency, and that's the consistency you want, because we're gonna now use this to fill our buttons. So all I'm gonna do is take a Ziploc bag. This is the easiest way to do it. I'm gonna fold my bag over, and I'm gonna fill it with my ganache and then cut the corner out. Okay, so when you cut the hole in your Ziploc bag, make sure you don't cut too big of a hole, because you don't want to have a great big mess when you pour it out. So we're just going to cut a little bit of a hole here. I would say about a 1/4 inch or so, right off. And then just like you would use ice with any other, just like icing a cake, you're just going to squeeze on the top of the bag and push the ganache through. Now you can let your ganache cool a little bit, but you don't want it to cool too much because you don't want to get too firm. So I'm just gonna go ahead and fill my buttons here. Oh, great. Just like that. There, that couldn't be any easier. I'm just gonna pick it up and show you now. I like mine to be flat, so I'm actually using my finger to tamp it down, because I do want them to look like little St. Patrick's Day buttons, but you can have them look like Hershey Kisses, so you can have it have that little point on the top. But look at that, aren't those cute? Okay, so I'm just gonna finish these up, get my ganache in all of them, and I'll show you how great these turned out. Okay, so we've let our lucky buttons cool in the fridge for about an hour, and now they're ready to try. So let's give these the taste test here. These are so good. They're like candies. They're chewy. They're gonna give you, if you're, especially at night, if you have that snacky feel and you're wanting something that feels like you're cheating, oh my goodness, these are it. Lucky buttons, you guys. Make sure you subscribe. Check back next Friday for our next episode. Tell me what you want me to make, you guys. If you have a recipe that you want me to turn into something high protein and low sugar and make it healthified for you, let me know in the comments below and I will make your recipe. Bye, guys.